What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros. There's no T-Shroom today. No T-Shroom. He is at another work function, but it's a Tim and Brody thing. Now, I don't know if I can do this while I'm live. I might be a little too zoomed in here. Let's see here if I move this around. Am I able to go wider with this? Give me a second. Let's see if we can fix this even while I'm live. Get this a little bit more room so that when Brody comes, he's got some room here. Boom. It's gonna be better. A little bit more. Boom. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. We got a lot to talk about today. As that title suggests, we're gonna go deep here. A lot of bullish articles today, pretty much talking about how the ETF's pretty much about to happen. Like that's what I'm seeing a lot of. And it's funny because they're talking about Gary Gensler taking interviews and him talking about the 8 to 10 different ETFs he's looking at right now. But we're going to break down why nothing that has been done or said changes the timeline whatsoever, yet people are acting like it. And that's not necessarily true. However, we will take a look at the charts. We'll go back in time, and we will look at the best times for you guys to be buying and selling Bitcoin. There is phases to this that have cycles. That perfect is the wrong word. You're not going to be able to buy the perfect bottom, and you're not going to sell the perfect tops. You guys know that's a big thing here at Investing Bros. We talk about good purchases, good selling points. That's what you really want. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button while people are filing in. I'm at home again today, obviously, taking care of Brody. The rest of this week, I think I'm back in office on Monday. I know Taylor still has some other stuff she has to do Monday and Tuesday, but I think her mom might be coming up and watching Brody, so I'll be back in office. T-Shirt will be back tomorrow. It's another afternoon business trip he's got to take, and to be fair with you guys, it's going to happen frequently, so get used to some Tim one-on-ones, and sometimes Brody will join. But the good news is today, if he gets tired, I got this bouncer right off camera. He's going to be able to chill right by me. You might hear some rattle shakes. You might hear some oohing and ahhing from the Brody, but he'll still be here. Let's see who is in here today. I'm going to give it a second before we kick this off. How do you guys like my opening? You know, I figured this is better than just cut screen to me. And then when I close it out, because there's always an awkward thing. I think last time you guys got the awkward outing. We're going to go back to that for our out screen. So I know we're good to go. But shout out to Army Piper chatting it up in here. What's up, Mike? Play as well. Alex Crypto is here. Crypto Alchemist is here. Reading some names. This is a special day. Not as many people are in here just yet, so I'm reading some names. Don't take it for granted. Sometimes I'll still read some names. That's dangerous. An open cup of water. Right out by the computers and stuff. So that's going to make the show extra fun here as well. Let's go ahead, guys. Let's go ahead and dive on in to some details here that I want to take a look at as we're kind of opening it up. Let's start by my screen. This morning we discussed on our news update, we discussed there was two very important things happening. First of all, we're going to get initial jobless claims. Well, we kind of went back and forth saying, hey, what's going to happen here? I actually kind of speculated there's a chance that maybe we end up hitting the numbers, but no, we did not. We went to 198,000. The consensus, 212,000. Forecast, 212,000. Previous was 211, but those holiday jobs were just too much. Too many people being hired. What this means, in case anyone's not putting it together, with jobless claims coming in lower than expected, you could see, it's not going to happen this month, you could see Jerome Powell take advantage of this. We're going to come back here because he spoke today as well. Maybe we won't come back here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. It did not have any effect right now, though. I will say, let's take a look at this. Let's refresh so we get the most up-to-date data. Don't want to get anything old. So, yeah, what we're looking at right now, you guys are seeing a 99% prediction. But this prediction, usually we get to see this chart over here. Are you going to zoom in for me now, chart? Are you going to zoom in? No, you're not going to zoom in. You know what I mean? There we go. 99% is predicting 525 to 550. That is a pause. Why is it on the right side of the screen? Because as of this afternoon, we now have a 1% chance of a rate cut in November. Guys, it's not going to happen. but there's a chance, it's 1%. They're predicting a 1% chance he cuts rates. We'll talk a little bit more here in just a second about what Jerome Powell said that might have made people feel this way, because reality, he kind of said some good things. He kind of said some bearish things. But December, we move over here. This is actually really kind of funny. There's more of a chance of a rate cut in November. Excuse me, I might have said December before. There's more of a chance of a rate cut in November than there is in December. There's only 0.7 chance in December. We shoot down to 69% staying paused in December. Still, let's take a look over here. July, we're continuing. This is really weird. Actually, yeah, July, we're continuing to be the first month, I do believe. Let's check June just to make sure. I don't want to be wrong here. Very close. Technically 35.9% saying pause, 35.6% saying cut. That means they still are predicting a pause, but June's starting to pick back up some potential went the wrong thing. It's starting to pick up some potential that maybe we get a little bit of a cut there, but still the expectation is July. But you guys might be wondering, Tim, why? Why are we seeing a shoot up to 99% chance and a 1% chance we cut rates? What happened today that would make that happen? Jerome Powell spoke at noon. And I'm not going to go into detail. There was some festivities, it sounds like, because a bunch of protesters came in that made a security guard come in and take Jerome Powell off the stage. No, the security guards were not, they're not the protesters were not protesting Bitcoin. They were not protesting the ridiculous financial spending of the U.S. government. They were not protesting high interest rates. They were just your good old-fashioned, old faithful, why am I blank on the word? They were activists for climate change activists, storming the Federal Reserve to interrupt Jerome Powell's speech. But we did get a good amount from him. Something he mentioned very much so was that he is still impressed. He thinks that he's doing a good job with his dual mandate. His dual mandate, of course, is to keep the money from getting too highly inflated while also trying to keep the job market up. And he said despite the fact they've had some pretty harsh rate hikes, they've been able to keep the job market nice and sturdy and strong. And so for that reason, he does believe that they're doing a good job. Now, that's the bullish part. That's probably why you see the Fed rate tool, the CME group, predicting with a lot of certainty that we are going to see a pause. And maybe, not going to happen, maybe an outside chance, they cut rates. That's the bullish side of this. The bearish side, however, you got to get over into X. And I got to actually look this back up because I guess I went off of it. But this is one of the few people I saw kind of reporting on this. Where was it? It's down here. Boom. Fed Jerome Powell says that the current fiscal path that we are on is unstable. I don't know why people aren't reacting more to this news, because this is really important. Guys, he's obviously referring to the way that we are spending money. Yes, his job is to keep inflation down as much as possible. He's trying to get inflation back down to 2%, which is their goal. He said it for a long time now. But every single time he starts to make some progress, the U.S. government, good old Joe Biden, Janet Yellen, the rest of them, they come up with a brand new way to spend money. Well, where's that money coming from? They used all of our taxes. They're continuing to try to tax the crap out of us and come up with brand new ways to tax us. They're taking it from other resources. They're depleting our oil reserves. They're doing everything they can to come up with money to spend on frivolous things. Not frivolous things. Obviously, some of it's frivolous, and some of it is for war happening over in Europe and Asia. I guess Israel's right there between Asia and Africa. I don't actually know. That'd be the good trivia question of the day. Is it Africa? I'm going to go and say Africa. I'm going to say it's Africa. Either way, they want to support war. They want to support it in, the newest ask, $100 billion. Where's that money coming from? We don't have it. We gotta have to print it. And Jerome Powell knows that. And he's sitting here saying, hey, this is not doable long term. I'm doing the best I can to keep rates low, even though they are high. I'm trying to keep them low. I'm trying to stay steady here, but this isn't sustainable long term. We also today, Elon Musk continues to talk about, there was a report earlier today, Elon Musk talks about Tesla. And one of the reasons why Tesla stock falling, he talks about this. He says it's just not sustainable. When people come in to buy cars, they're having to ask themselves the question, not do I like the car, but they're asking, can we afford the payments? Because the cost of a Tesla hasn't gone up. That's not the problem. The problem is to take a loan to go buy one is ever increasing. I think it was yesterday we saw 30-year mortgage payments get above 8%. So any of you out there looking to buy a house, never in the history of America have we seen such high interest rates with just such high prices of housing. The average house right now is sitting right below $400,000. Well, if you were to go buy that house and take out a 30-year mortgage, you're going to be paying over those 30 years $1 million. Ridiculous. It's crazy. That's what we're up against. That's what Jerome Powell knows we're up against. And so while people are paying attention to the more bullish stuff that he said when he talks about, hey, you know, we're doing a decent job. Inflation is not out of control. It's below 4% at this point, or right at 4%. And job market seems strong, even though he didn't talk about the fact that's kind of propped up by the fact that we're getting close to the holidays. And obviously there's seasonal hiring that always happens. People like to focus on the bullish and ignore the bearish. They also want to ignore the fact that we have both Bank of America and Charles Schwab in the last couple of hours, 48 hours. Both of them have kind of hinted at another bank run happening. Now, that could be actually really good for crypto. They predict it probably in the next couple of months, but that could be really good for crypto. Maybe that's when we hit the bottom of crypto prices, that's going to come here later November, early December. Maybe the catalyst is there's another bank run. That's always good for the price of Bitcoin. Scare some people about their money. People go buy Bitcoin. But people aren't paying attention to that. The economy is still in trouble, and Jerome Powell knows it. So while he's doing the best he can to remain the main cheerleader and keep making the current administration look as good as possible, even he knows this is not sustainable long term, and we're in a lot of trouble. We're going to have to fix that eventually. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in chat what you guys think about all that. Did I miss anything there? Am I off in my analysis? Do you guys disagree? Do you think that this is super bullish? We're going to talk about Bitcoin prices here in a second. We're going to do some regular TA. Then we're going to go into the topic of when we're looking forward based off of historical precedents. What is the best time for you guys to be buying Bitcoin? And maybe we'll even kind of flirt with altcoins as well. It's a little more complicated. You got to take a look at a couple different things when it comes to altcoins. But we can do all that work if you guys want to do it. Brody's still asleep, so I'm waiting on him too. If you guys ever see me glance down, it's waiting on Brody. Got to get him from his nap. But he didn't go down until 2:30, so we might have all the way till 3:30, maybe a little after. Let's do it here, guys. Let's go ahead, jump on in here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. It's always very different running this show without T-Shroom. And no one to banter back and forth with. Maybe I'll do some chat reading before we jump into these charts. Let me get some water real quick. Eric Wallen helped me out. Climate. Let's see here. Yeah. A lot of people saying hi. A lot of people coming in. We're almost at 40 concurrent. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 23 likes. Listen, with this few viewers at the moment, we definitely hit those likes a little higher. Go ahead and hit those likes. Let's talk Bitcoin, guys. Now, this is the 15-minute chart. You do not see Tim get to the 15-minute chart very often. This is a special day. Special day. Why? Because we were rallying today, despite the fact that there's not really a good reason to rally other than the people kind of thinking about the SEC's approval or not approval of Bitcoin ETFs. Everyone is kind of running with this scenario right now that we're literally days away, maybe 1 month away from the first Bitcoin spot ETF being approved. Guys, that's not what he said at all, but yet people responded that way. But even though we were moving bullishly, and even though we got back up to some pretty close levels where we were at yesterday, in fact, we actually are closing 15-minute candles higher than we closed them yesterday. You also noticed the thumbnail. I think T-Shirt, when he made the thumbnail, those coming in, it says the show is yesterday. It says it's the 18th, but, it happens. My point here, though, is that we are moving to the upside. We didn't get back to 29,000, but we did reject. There was a support level we had starting on the 17th. That was Tuesday. That little support level we had broken, turned into resistance, once again is being used as resistance. So, if the bulls want to gain control, even though I'm bearish right now in the short term, if the bulls want to gain control, they definitely need to reclaim that level, a rising level of resistance. They need to break and set a new, let's go up to the higher time frame. They need to break and get above definitely at least 29,000. But realistically, again, if they want to keep these higher highs, higher lows going in, they set a pretty high standard here the other day to 30,000. That's the next level they're going to have to get above. I don't think it's going to happen, but I could be wrong because I didn't also think. I'm a little surprised we're rallying as high as we're rallying right now. But we are starting to see the bearish calls come in here. Hourly chart. This morning we flashed with the red reversal. Didn't quite pay attention to it, but if that wasn't strong enough, then we got the overbought flash here in the hourly chart, and we're getting the bearish divergences. You're seeing the RSI's overextended. If we pull up here, let's look at our waves. We got and touched that red wave once again. Now, this isn't overwhelmingly bearish. We could just bounce back down and continue to ride this wave. But if we're not going to continue to set new high highs, we're best case scenario creating a Bart Simpson type of pattern where we're keeling sideways and then eventually we'll fall to the downside. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, see what it is saying, because obviously it gives us a little bit of a different perspective. You know, we're closing. We closed a candle, guys. We talked about it this morning. We closed a candle above this 28,500. We'll talk more about that as we move to a larger time frame, because at the end of this week, that level will be very important. I'll tell you why here in a second. But those of you who are watching right now, yeah, you know, we're up. But can you tell me what you're seeing here on this oscillators, on all these oscillators and the price action that might alarm you a little bit? Some of you might not see it because maybe you misunderstand how to calculate this, but we are developing at the moment. If we get a red candle on the 4-hour candle anytime soon, we're going to develop bearish divergence. Why? Well, clearly the oscillators are setting lower highs. You know, we're higher in price action. Some of you might say, "Oh, Tim, we're not higher in price action. We had a wick all the way to 30,000." Oscillators, this is in case you guys didn't know this, oscillators don't go to the upside or the downside based off of wicks. They're constantly readjusting themselves. They respond to price candle closes, right? So when we get these really high oscillators, we're talking about best case scenario, a candle close right here at about 28,500. Well, we close candles up here at 28,700, and yet the oscillator is way lower. That, ladies and gentlemen, when you set, we're talking with T. Schumer about this, when you set a higher high in price action and a lower high in oscillator action, lower high, excuse me, that is bearish divergence. It's strong bearish divergence. It's a reversal signal. Looking here, even on the 4-hour chart, money flow is slightly keeling up, but I do expect that to kind of keel back over. It's kind of more reacting based off the fact that we have had this little curvature right here. Money flow moving a little more bullish, but that happens a lot. Don't be necessarily too shook by it. I still think that we're going to see this keel to the downside. I still think there's something going to come in and it's going to kind of kill the party, so to say. We're going to be moving down to the downside as well. Again, a lot of hype right now in Bitcoin from China, from people really convinced that we are moving to the upside long term because of these ETFs. But guys, I'm telling you, if you listen to what Gary Gensler has actually said here more recently, I got some people calling me. Cannot talk, guys. I'm in a live show. If you guys listen to what Gary Gensler has said recently, he continues to talk about how, well, you know, we're examining 8 to 10 different ETFs at the moment. We're looking at them really closely. And, you know, in the SEC, we like to have, you know, about a 15 to 21 month period so we can really examine them to make sure we get everything set up correctly. Well, we've done the math, guys. Based off of when these things were filed, 15 to 21 months would put it somewhere in 2024. Technically, you could get some late December, but in reality, guys, we're going to see him continue to kick the can down the road. I think, you know, January is something interesting. I kind of have this inkling, this feeling that somehow he'll find some reason, excuse to delay it as long as possible. So late Q1, early Q2, to me, seems to make sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see end of December, early January, but that's the earliest. That's the earliest I can see. I don't see it happening any earlier. Let me hear if you guys think anything differently. Gary said my team instead of I know. Instead of I know. I don't know about that one. Yeah. So here's the thing also that before we go back to the charts. You guys have been in crypto a very long time. Most people watching this channel, I'm looking at names. I recognize pretty much all of them. You guys have been watching for a while, which means you've been learning for a while, which means you've been thinking for a while, which means we have been in time periods, and you guys remember this, where everyone is telling you Ethereum is about to tear and it's going to set itself so far above the others. And now we're in a season where people are literally, I saw an article today saying, is Ethereum in trouble? Is Vitalik Buterin about to rug pull everyone and Ethereum going to zero? It's crazy. We've seen periods where people are just convinced that Bitcoin's not doing anything. Right now, people are thinking, there's articles throughout everything today. Let's sit here and look at this, actually. Share my screen. these articles are super, super, super bullish. Why is Bitcoin price up today? Of course, you click on that Cointelegraph, they're going to have like all this stuff about why Bitcoin's so good. No Bitcoin sold. Tesla holds off. This is good news. Bitcoin price climbs above 28.6 as they wait for a very dovish Fed Powell speech. Okay. Bitcoin diamond hands now hold 76. What to expect with a final grayscale SEC court mandate? Final expert says literal perfect storm is brewing for Bitcoin. Price rally back to 30,000. Everything happening right now. Oh, this is a good one. There we go. Bitcoin price could reach 675,000 if this happens. Guys, none of this is factual news. None of this is saying we're actually going to see these things happen. These are people just giving bullish opinions because the sentiment right now, the news right now is overwhelmingly bullish. People really, really like it. But we've seen this happen with altcoins, but now altcoins are trash according to everybody. We've seen this happen where Bitcoin was terrible, but now Bitcoin is the greatest thing since sliced bread to people. I forgot to do the quote of the day. And the quote of the day had to do with this. Let's go to that quote of the day. Middle of the show, quote of the day. What time we got? 3:22. Shout out to T-Shroom. I think he's in chat. What's up, T-Shroom? We're doing the quote of the day at 3:22. Sorry about it. But one of my good buddies who is no longer with us, and I've never met, and he doesn't know who I am, Richard D. Wyckoff. You might be urged to say yes, but these are rare examples. The average man or woman never makes a success of a day trading by reading moment-by-moment transactions of the market. Guys, we are in a moment-by-moment transaction. Today, it is bullish for Bitcoin. Everyone wants to be bullish about Bitcoin. But tomorrow, the story might change. There's going to be days where we think the economy is strong. There's going to be other days we think the economy is weak. There's going to be days we think Cardano's about to die, and other days Cardano's going to take off in 165x. There's going to be days where we think Ethereum is the greatest thing ever, and then in other days we're asking, is it even going to make it to the end of this bull market? Do not get caught up in all of the FOMO and FUD that hits your eyeballs and your earballs every single day. Yes, I said earballs. It's actually an inside joke that my wife would understand, but you guys are not my wife. But, you know, it's a thing. You cannot get stuck in this. And again, what I'm saying is a lot of you guys, we do not have any noobs watching crypto YouTube right now. I don't think we definitely don't on this channel. We only have 47 of you guys watching right now. You guys, you 47 of you, you're in for a treat because we're going to talk about the best times to be buying and selling based off the history of Bitcoin here in just a second. But my point here is please, 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 I beg of you, I'm not giving you financial advice here, but I'm telling you, do not fall for what right now is some heavy FOMO. I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, go in and buy Bitcoin right now because we probably aren't going to see any lower prices because these ETFs are about to pop. That's not how it works. Let's just even say the ETFs did pop tomorrow. Yeah, we might see a price shoot back up to 30,000, maybe go a little higher. Doesn't mean we can't pull back either. Do you guys not remember this? You guys not remember this little chart right here? I got to zoom out here a little bit to show you guys. Good old XRP. News that shocked the world. It made everyone excited. And one day the price went 100% to the upside. Where's the price now? It's back down barely above where it was that day we got the news. We've dropped below that price level. Actually, several times now. 1, 2, 3 times. 3 times we have been back below the level that if you had bought the day before the great news on XRP, you would have had amazing time. Did not share my screen. Share my screen. Click the button. There we go. Sorry, guys. One-man shows are hard. XRP. This is what I'm talking about. 100% up. We fell back down 3 times. We've gone back below the initial price of that day before the news came out. Don't fall into the trap of FOMO and FUD articles dictating when you buy. You guys dictate when you buy. I'm not even saying listen to me. We're about to do some stuff. And again, even when I show you these charts and I'm telling you, hey guys, this is a great time to buy. It's a great time to sell. Hopefully you see it for yourself and you logically think through it and you continue to do your own analysis and you wait for the day and you prepare and you are the one that makes the decision because of your research, not because of mine. And definitely not because you were reading articles that told you that Bitcoin might get up to $675,000 if this happens. Who knows what this is, right? I'm going to get off my soapbox. My screen's on. I know some people are catching up, but my screen is back on. Sorry about that bedridden ML fellow. Let's talk about Bitcoin, best times to buy and sell. You guys know one of them. You guys know I've been talking about this a lot. I do believe end of November, early December, we're going to see a good buy. I think it's going to be in this T-box. I think we're going to get down at least below 23,000, down towards 21.5, 21.7-ish. I think there's still an outside chance we go below 20,000. You're going to see a lot more people, but here a couple of weeks ago, everyone here, let's backing up to what I just talked about. A couple of weeks ago, everyone was saying, "Oh man, we might go to 20,000," right? And so it made the logical thinkers who know it's really good to think a different thought than how the majority is going. They're like, well, if everyone says 20,000, isn't there a chance we don't do it? Well, guess what? During the period of time that everyone said 20,000, the price of Bitcoin actually went to the upside and we touched 30,000. Well, now no one wants to keep saying 20,000. It's not fun to still be the bear in the room and say, guys, a 20,000 Bitcoin is still very much in the cards. No one wants to say it. Everyone wants to talk about prices to the upside. That makes it the perfect reason why the price is probably coming down. Now, as we come down, we start to drop back towards 25,000. You will hear the rumor mills start to come back up saying that 20,000 could happen. There is times where the masses start to believe something could happen, but my concern and my thoughts, rather, is that 20,000 is going to happen, or 21.5, or maybe a little lower. It's going to happen because people are actually going to freak out and start saying 15.5. They're going to start saying 12,000. They're going to start saying 3,000. Crypto Savvy is going to have a real good, fun time when Bitcoin loses 25,000. People are going to watch him. He's going to continue to hammer that $3,000 price prediction. Well, now the reason it'll fake out is because if everyone thinks way, way, way lower, now it allows the whales and manipulators to actually buy at higher prices, and the retail gets left out. You got to think this way. Anyway, man, I try to get off soapboxes, and then I get back on them. I'm sorry about it. Let's take a look at the best times to be buying. Did I grab the wrong one? I'm on the right one. Okay, we're good. Let's go log chart. I want to take a look at the 4-year cycle, everybody, and take a look at some coincidental dates and time periods you need to be paying attention to. It won't be perfect, but you guys need to watch for these things. We've talked about a lot of this before, but I wanted to use this episode to kind of hammer this, and by the time I'm done with this, Brody will probably be awake, and we'll get into some good Q&A. You guys can talk to me, ask me questions. We can do some more charting, do whatever we want to do. Let's talk about this. First of all, we already surpassed a good time to sell. A good time to sell should have been somewhere in the June-ish region back in 2019. Of course, we continue to the downside. June, probably even July, maybe even make an argument for August. Right here, 3 peaks would have been good to buy. You do not count on black swan events, so I'm not going to say March of 2020. That's not going to make sense, and it's not going to make sense when I go back to the previous bear market either. So that's why I'm going to say we're going to see here in 2019 the best time to be accumulating Bitcoin is going to be November and December. November 25th, we're a little off of that. December 20th. Why have I been saying late November to early to middle December? Because of this right here, right? This corresponds pretty nicely when you go back and you look at the previous cycle here, back here. We did not do the same thing like we did here where we did not come back down and hit a bottom. Back in 2015, we actually double bottomed. That's why some people think we might do it again. I don't think so, but let's look at this. Bear market bottom was January. Where was the bear market bottom in 2019? December. Stupid close. Within like 2 weeks. So mid to late December, early January, that was the previous cycle. It's a 3-year, 11-month cycle, so guys, we have to continue to back this up, but stay with me here. Bear market bottom was January. Well, guess when the next good time to buy was? August. Remember when I came back over, best times to sell, guys. Best times to sell, July, August. We had a really good dip here at the end of August going into September. Time periods are a little different, but even all the way through here, if you were buying into October, these were good times to buy. All right, so we're seeing a little bit of a repeat kind of happen in this same situation. The months aren't perfect, but you are looking for these pre-bull market rallies to sell and then fall again. Okay, pay attention to that for the next cycle because you will want to take advantage of that in the next bear cycle. But then you get into when is after we've bought now, when is a good time to sell that has had some consistency? Well, let's move into that. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is June of 2017. We peaked here. This is after breaking the former all-time high. Of course, the former all-time high was $1,200, $1,234 back in December of 13. We wrestled with that high in March of 17, came back down, and then, that's going to be one time also. Keep an eye on when you get back to all-time highs and get around that area. There's going to be a little bit of a dip. But When you get up here to June of 17, it doesn't look like much, but there was a 38%, 39% pullback in the price action. So selling when you get to a new high, when you get to a good little high, let's see, how high was this after hitting a new all-time high? We'll just take a look at this so we can compare it to the next bull market. After hitting all-time high, this came in about 125, 130% after that all-time high, 38% pullback. And even though there was other pullbacks in here, the top of the bull market ended up being December of 2017. Let's compare that same situation. All right, so we get the March 2020 dip, of course, but realistically, we should have had that bottom here in December, just like we had it back over here. You rally up here. What happens right here? Let's see. April, May. So again, 3-year, 11-month cycle. You got to start backing the timelines up, right? April, May, we get another secondary high. Of course, Elon kind of poked at this one. He kind of suggested, all right, hey guys, we're going to start selling with Tesla because there's an economical problems with Bitcoin. But the point is, this one ends up dropping 56% more severely than we had the previous one. But that's a consistent cycle that you get to after you break through former all-time highs. Look at this right here. We get back to all-time high. We hesitate. We pull back slightly. And then we blast through the next time we peaked up here. Let's look at that again. Hitting former all-time high. We rallied, this time a little higher. Gotta put it in back screen. Oh, no, it's actually pretty much the same amount. After hitting all-time high, we rallied about 115, 120%, give or take. And then we had a nice little pullback. Sorry, so I don't know why I did that. Wrong time period. We rallied more than 115. We rallied up here about 231%, but we got to that May, April area, retraced. Just like back here, we retraced, and then we made our new high. We made a new push to the upside, hit that high in December. Of course, you guys remember November of 21, that's when we hit our official high. It does kind of look like a weenie little thing. I do think this next bull market, we're going to do better than this, where we go more than, I think we only outdid the high by 6%. I think our 2 peaks that will happen in 2025 are going to have better peaks than that. But the point is, if you're looking for good places to take profit and then buy back out, watch. So if it happened in June of 17, right here, boom, and then May of 2021, we're realistically probably looking at early April to, probably early April, maybe early May at the latest. We're going to be looking at another high that after we more than likely come in here and double top at the all-time high, we stop around 68,000, 70,000. We're going to make that move right about April, May. Where are we? No, that's 24. 2025, what date is this? Come on now. Why are you doing this to me? Why? Oh, it doesn't want to tell me how far out that is. Do I need to go weekly? Have to. Gosh, TradingView sometimes can be so fickle, so stupid. Right here, guys, right around April, end of April, early May. Look for a high to be somewhere in the region. Again, if this stays consistent as well, by the way, former all-time high, to that first one. If we get, let's just say we do the less bullish thing and go 130%. Look for potentially somewhere in that range, 130%. You're taking profit somewhere. Let's go a little lower. That's going to be 150. I don't think we're going to be at 150 at that point, but it could be if the ETFs really take off. Either way, you're taking profit somewhere in that April range because there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. April range of 2025 is going to be a little bit of pullback. And then, of course, the big sell is also going to be in November, October area of 2025. We've seen that consistently over the last 2 4-year cycles. I do believe that's a pattern that's going to hold up once again. I talked about altcoins briefly. Let's check on Brody real quick. He's still sleeping. Good little boy. Altcoins are great for the buys here at the beginning. The sells are a little bit different. Ethereum is going to be different when you go back to 2017, 2019. It did peak in June, but then it's January top of 18. It was a month later. Same thing with, this one, it actually did peak at the same time as Bitcoin here in November, but you look at altcoins like Cardano, for example, peaked in January, a month after Bitcoin in 18. Its peak was in September 21st. It actually came early. You look at some other coins, Matic, I believe, was a little bit later, December of 21, so a month after. So I think traditionally Cardano was one that had such an explosive rally. This one came early. I think what we're actually going to be looking at is when we see all-time highs for Bitcoin, you're probably going to have to wait a month or so to see crypto all-time highs is going to be the more realistic expectation. So when it comes to Bitcoin, this is my plan. You guys can do it whether you want or not, but I wanted to just preface you guys. More than likely, I'm waiting. I told you guys I'm going to be purchasing. I took some profit, got some good dry powder. I'm going to be purchasing Bitcoin alone. Not going to get into altcoins just yet. In November, December of this year, I'm going to pick up the mantle and start buying some altcoins probably closer to after I've seen a decent little pump in Bitcoin, probably sometime around January, February. But then I will probably take some profit. I got to go out to the weekly chart. Yeah, I'm probably going to take some profit here after getting a good buy and kind of getting it over in 2025, April, May, I'm going to take some profit. Not all of it, just a little bit. Going to create some more dry powder, expecting somewhere between a 20 to 30% pullback in 2025, and then I'll take a good amount of profit. Again, I'm probably never going to take 100% of profit of my crypto, just in case of things, right? But I'm going to take some pretty heavy profit in October, November of 2025. That is my plan. Guys, there's a 4-year cycle to this, and it sticks pretty stinking well, and I do think it's going to happen once again. Look for some content in the future to come out on that though. Doing some good research on factors that will come into play that you guys need to be aware of with manipulation of not only the people that want to pump Bitcoin's price, but remember, while everyone's so bullish right now about ETFs, there's still all these other characters out there that are bearish. Maybe one of them is going to rear their head here in a couple of days and push the price back down. We've talked about the U.S. government, of course, wanting to sell. There's been lots of times where there's FUD out there that the U.S. government has sold, and then that ends up being fake, but it's always good FUD. Mt. Gox is going to want to have some people taking profit on Bitcoin. People that lost are getting money back potentially from FTX, Celsius, some of these other exchanges that have gone belly up. They're going to want to take some profit on Bitcoin. There are entities out there that absolutely want to take profit and get out of Bitcoin because they are super scarred, but they are waiting for the price to go up so they can actually get some good profit out of it. Remember, as bullish as these ETFs will be, and they'll come with their own cells, you're also going to have these larger entities that have been burned in the past, and they will take advantage of good prices and sell and get out and walk away. So there's going to be a video probably coming out next couple of weeks that I talk more about that. It is a 3:38. Man, 40 minutes in. I'm very surprised this boy is still sleeping, but it's time to go into some Q&A with you guys. What do you have for me? I know, again, this is a lot, again, especially when it's a one-man show. I got no T-Shroom to go back and forth with. We got no trivia of the day, but it is time to get into Q&A here. Indie Rock Crypto says, I've always loved the composite man perspective. Well, guess what? It is a great perspective. It's been around since the 20s, not 2020s. That's where we currently are. Richard Wyckoff created that theory back in 1920s. Now, I don't think he published it till closer to the 30s or 40s, but he became a trader in the 20s. He learned that very easily. Even back then, when there wasn't internet and there wasn't all this chaos, he knew that they would print things in the papers. They would tell things about the stocks. They would work together to manipulate the retail investors and to gain as much power as possible. And he learned very quickly, yes, the charts are still helpful. Yes, you all these things, but you could literally just trade pretty much against the news and be very successful doing it. Well, guess what? Crypto now came a little under 100 years later, and it's one of the easiest things to do it with because of its decentralized faction, because of the fact that people can trade it 24/7, and especially now the institutions are really starting to pay attention to it and want to learn more about it. I do think that it's going to continue to be a thing. It's going to be a thing for a very, very long time. That's just how the markets move. And then you also might think like, hey, at some point when people just get smarter, they're going to realize that no, because guess what, guys? Let's just say there's a couple million of us. Let's say there's 5 million people who have learned this system of like, all right, these whales and institutions, they manipulate the price and they put these stories out to FOMO you and FUD you out. We're going to do the opposite. Well, for every 5 million people that are here learning that lesson, there's going to be a brand new 12 million, 20 million, 30 million. I don't even know the odds, but more than us. Retail investors who are very dumb are going to come in and say, oh, I read an article that Bitcoin might get to 675,000 because this might happen. I read an article that Gary Gensler might approve an ETF in 20 days, and I need to buy Bitcoin right now. Those people are here. They're among us. They will keep the consistency of that faction going, and they will get people to continue to do that. Eric Wallen says, Tim, can you look at Solana? Yes, we have to look at Solana. Solana is on a tear. People love Solana right now, and Solana, there's good reason to love Solana because the price is going to the upside. Let's first look at this off log. Let's go this. All right, so I kind of addressed this the other day, but we're going to go deeper into this. I actually kind of looked at this when we had our overbought and our reversal right here. I looked at this and said, hey, I think we're going to make a new higher high and set up some bearish divergence. This is looking very similar to Bitcoin's chart on the 4-hour chart. I showed you guys Bitcoin. I'm not going to go back to it. But what do we have here, guys? This one, you don't even have to just compare the candle bodies. It's doing it wicks as well. Overbought, red reversal, high oscillators. We dip back down to that mid-level. Now we're rallying back up, setting higher highs in this price action, yet the oscillators are lower. We got to see the red candle, and this is a daily candle, which means you got to be patient. But I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be very surprised if we don't see a bearish divergence end up coming out of this on the daily chart. Just going to happen. You always got to remember to kind of zoom out and think about this as well, guys. So short-term frame, we come down here to the bottom of September. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, kind of a higher low, I guess. It's not really, I wouldn't put on the same trend. We kind of have a trend here of our lows, give or take. Not perfect, but it's there. The trend of the highs are not necessarily the same. But my point here is we are in a bullish trend right now on this daily chart in a more zoomed in fashion. But you move out here, well, we're back up. We're kind of working to cancel out this bearish trend, but we've been in a bearish trend. And of course, when you really go macro, we're still not beating out prices. I'm not saying I would wait for this price to buy. I'm just saying I want to see us get above, $38.70 would be a very good start, $39. And then I think getting over $47, $48 would be very nice for Solana. After that, technically there's also going to be a markup here at 145. But you got to remember, Solana's doing very, very good, but the chart's not as cool when you zoom out like this and you look at what it's going through. Now, I will say there's some things I want to delete here. And I'm going to draw these on the log chart. I can get rid of a lot of this. I just do that, so I'm not really that attached to it. I'm going to leave my little T-box because I do think there's an outside chance Solana's going to be dropping down back into this range. I've said that before. I thought we were going to rally above higher. I think it's holding up. We are setting up a nice little bullish pattern that we've seen others kind of not do very well with, but we are looking at a nice little, go down a little bit, ascending triangle. There's a bullish pattern, flat top, rising support, bullish. Guys, maybe, I'll say this, I do think that it's going to go to the downside, but this is a bullish macro pattern that more often than not end up moving to the upside. And again, I get to a point where I do these, but I give you guys the breakout, but I'm learning more and more. Bitcoin, you got a good chance of the pattern coming true. Ethereum, decent. Altcoins are terrible at fulfilling their breakout predictions. More realistically, what I like to do is say, all right, this is a bullish pattern. Let's look at another level. If I were to pull up fixed range volume profile and say, what's the next level of good resistance here? So to me, while technically speaking, you take the opening of the formation, that would give us a price prediction of $90 for Solana. I'm more realistically, I'm going to sit here and say, all right, first of all, wow, that is really faint. Let me, I don't know why I have that so dark. What the heck? Is it this? I'm super dark on that one. All right. Let's go to this one as well. Yeah. All right. What I'm looking at here, there's a couple different levels above us that are kind of interesting. We got our first valley right here. If we keep going up right there at the resistance level, so that's a good reason why. So you have valley right here, the price action of $26.95, $27, give or take. That's the first level I'm looking at. If we break this, we have another valley up here at 29.3, but I think there's an outside chance you make a push towards that 32.85. Next, you have the value area high. If you go back to the top of the bull market, value area high coming here about 42.98. Those are all interesting levels. I'd be very surprised if Solana just shoots up and comes all the way up here. It wouldn't happen fast anyways, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if we make a break to the upside, we reject at one of these levels I just talked about and maybe make a move back to the downside and don't make this just consistent bull trend to the upside, which is how if you were trading stocks, A lot of times those things do that. But I have to say, Solana, on the longer time frames, I'm liking it. I've said I've liked it. I changed my mind about Solana here, I don't know, 3 months ago. I used to not be a fan of Solana, but you have to applaud them. The fact that they are consistently moving the upside, setting these higher lows, it's a great thing. Realistically, guys, I do think there's an outside chance we end up seeing something like this. Maybe we keep that push up to 26.91. I think there's an outside chance, though. Just like Ethereum and others I've seen, other altcoins have done this. We lose our support level. We end up coming down, what do we have? 14, 13, 1585, somewhere in there. And then we make our move to the upside. I don't see new lows for Solana. It's the hottest altcoin right now, for sure, easily, of the top ones. It's the hottest mega cap. Is that the right word? Mega cap? Macro cap? I don't know. Top 20. But I don't see it doing this explosive shoot up towards $90. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let's go to 4-hour chart, see what it's doing on more. Nope. Got to get rid of that. Forgot I have to change this. Let's go back to my chart here. Let's take a look at what we have going on. Yeah, same thing with Bitcoin. So we not only had that daily chart, bearish divergence, we also had the 4-hour chart. Do we have it on Bitcoin? I guess I didn't even look at the daily chart for Bitcoin to look for bearish divergence. Oscillators pop up for me. Take off log. I'll be kind of looking. Yeah, kind of back here. No, I mean, I think you're going to see the same thing here. Well, yeah, technically speaking, you got bearish divergence right there. So that peak back here being a lot higher. Yeah. All right. Well, either way, Solana has it both on the 4-hour and the daily chart. Not what you want to see, but that doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean it can't keep moving to the upside, for sure. Don't like that. Get into that red wave on both of them. So again, okay, let's go back. I didn't even look at this, kind of confirming it. Not going to be surprised, guys, to see us reject. Maybe get back up here to this red line, 26.81. Kind of ride the very top of that one. And then move to the downside. Bada boom. Good call, though, Eric Wong. Again, Solana's hot right now. Solana, a lot of people talking about Solana. It's up 7% today. Definitely making some moves. It's probably one of the few coins that I'm about to look at that would be bullish in this category. Solana over Bitcoin. Yeah. Look at what it's doing here. Now it's getting overextended. Looks like it's going to kind of move back to the downside. Hasn't really affected Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is hovering and staying above 52, but yeah, definitely getting to a place where it's thinking about correcting. If we close here, we're getting close to the day it closed. Bearish divergence here as well on the Solana over Bitcoin. Good day for Solana, but out of curiosity, do you guys know, is there something really, really major that happened here for Solana? I guess I'm doing that. I could do this. Where are you? There you go. I don't want you. Close. Man, Brody, sleeping like a champ. Slide back of an action. Solana hits $25. Potentially buy entry on Solana USDT. This is just trends. DeFi FUD to reclaim 10 billion cap. Overtakes 88 in Doge. Animals pulling on shutdown. Biggest movers. Ethereum maintains Solana price prediction. Not saying news necessarily that's like crazy bullish for this. I know they had that thing with Dubai. Breakpoint conference, Eric Wallen says, is in October. Okay. Conferences are not. I see you saying conference. So, okay. So this is the like buy the rumor, sell the. Or there was it back in October. What is today? Well, it is October now. What is the date of the conference? Breakpoint conference? I do remember talking about this. 30th. Okay. Yeah, guys, this is the buy the rumor, sell the news. This is the we're gonna rally up into it and then come and sell out of it. This is very classic in the crypto world. To come in and out of these based off of where you are in the conferences. So bullish leading into it. I do expect to sell off before or at least right at it. But good for Solana. Good for Solana, making a good little push right there. Going back to the Solana chart. Yeah. Keep an eye. 26.90. 26. Almost 27, pretty much. Give or take. What else you guys have? Let's see. Eric Wong, good call there. Thoughts on government. This is from Lane McMillan. Shout out to Lane McMillan. I don't know if I've ever read that name before. So glad you're here, man. Or is it? I think it's, I don't know. Bro. And here at the Investing Bros, you can be a bro no matter what gender you are. Thoughts on governments limiting access to exchanges. Examples, Binance UK not accepting new users. Yeah. Just so you know, guys, there's going to still be ways to do it. First of all, I know the SEC is going after Coinbase. Coinbase is not going anywhere, so don't really worry about that. You'll always be able to buy it on Coinbase. What they're really limiting here in the United States is the ability to really leverage trade. They really want to push you towards futures trading, which, again, there's lots of futures ETFs already out there. They're also wanting to push, again, this is part of a whole system, less options to trade on a decentralized exchange or a normal exchange is going to push you to trade on the stock market, which we're about to approve a bunch of spot ETFs. They really want to push you over there. The UK is a little different, and I know we have some fans in the UK, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I know there's been a lot of things happening in the UK, kind of pressing them to the point where they're out of nowhere becoming extremely harsh towards some of these. It's Ian. Okay. Oh, that's an I at the beginning of it, and it's still pronounced Ian. All right. What up, Ian? But yeah, in the UK, they're killing someone because they're really concerned about some illegal activity that's happened. It's more fun, and it's showing that the people that are creating those laws don't fully understand blockchain technology. Speaking of not understanding blockchain technology and people wanting to correct it and curtail it, you do, of course, have here more recently the story of my good old Aunt Beth, Elizabeth Warren. We talked about this yesterday, but she's wanting to continue to ban crypto, and the claim now is that it is being used for terrorist activity. Forget the fact that if you were to compare how much U.S. dollars are used for terrorist activity to crypto, we'd be talking about less than pennies. And also forget the fact that if you use cryptocurrency to not just terrorist activities, but pretty much anything illegal, it might make it hard for law enforcement to confiscate from you when they catch you, but it makes it actually pretty easy to go ahead and catch you and find out that you're doing it. Versus if I'm doing illegal activity in dollar bills, that makes it super easy. Shout out to Army Piper. I don't know if he's still in chat. I saw him here earlier, but obviously you guys know Army Piper was in the military. He was a data analyst, but he also specifically was looking into how to prevent different forms of crime coming into the United States. And the worst thing in the world was when people were using cash because it was untraceable. Cryptocurrency, when you do something illegal with cryptocurrency, it's so nice. It's so easy for law enforcement to be able to help track you down. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm sure there's lots of people that do crimes in crypto and they're not going to get caught. But when it comes to the big ones, crypto is going to be traceable. I don't like it, but it's also at a place right now. I do not like when we are shutting down counts of criminals, because even though those people might be criminals, and I might agree with it in a situation of saying, hey, let's fight them, the precedence of saying, oh, they did something we don't like, we're going to shut down their account. Well, what happens if I come on the screen one day and say something that someone high up doesn't like? What if I say something they deem harmful, and then I'm labeled as a terrorist and they want to shut down? I probably shouldn't be saying all this on YouTube. But my whole point is, crypto, if you want to do crime, is not the way to go. So we got to get people in. We got to get these government officials better understanding cryptocurrency. And just so you know, there are people in the governments around the world who understand that it can be heavily utilized for control as well as decentralization, and so they're actually coming around and they're liking it. But yeah, I would have to say with UK, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of confusion. They don't really fully understand it, so the easiest thing to do is try to limit it, and that will change. Eric says, Tim, you're just gonna have to keep going till Brody wakes up. The truth is, he was awake a second ago, and now I think he laid his head back down. What time is it? 3:54. He might make an appearance right at the very end. You guys are going to stay with me. 50 people of you guys are still here. But yeah, Ian, good question, but that's kind of where I'm rocking with. Cryptex and Bedridden, who are in chat, a lot of times I don't see them right at... Though Bedridden here commented a little bit ago, might have a better take on that, seeing as that they're closer. Cryptex lives in the UK. Bedridden lives in Sweden. Yes. And so he would better understand that world as well. Fade and Tradfi says he's at Eric Wallen though. What are you thinking for Solana breakpoint? We hitting 40. Yeah, do you guys think it goes higher? Do you guys think 40? Fade and Tradfi thinks above 40. I don't think so. I could see it. I would understand it, but I just don't think so. There's a lot of divergence, a lot of bearish pressure going to be coming into crypto space very soon. I don't think Solana is going to avoid it. I don't think any of the large players are going to be able to avoid it. That's my personal opinion. Yep, there he is. All right, really quickly, I'm going to leave it on this screen. I'm going to face screen. I'm going to actually, I'm going to go grab the real star of the show, the one that you guys really came to see, who slept way longer than I thought he would. That is Brody Warren. Give me 1 minute. And here is the new star of the show. The man, the myth, the legend, the Brody. He wakes up hard. Brody, you have anything to say to the people? Any thoughts about Solana? Thoughts about Bitcoin? Speechless. Yeah, he doesn't fall for the crap. He doesn't fall for the FOMO. We'll have to come up with a way for you to communicate your buy and sell orders to people as well, because you have been studying and you do know a thing or two. He is off his game a little today. He's getting a little sick, so that's a good 1-2 combo for me. I'm staying home to take care of him, and he is getting a little bit of a cough. But it's good for the immune system, good for the soul. Let's see. Amelo Fellow says, Brody twinning with Dad today. That's true. He's in black with the gray sweatpants. I'm not in gray sweatpants. I'm in blue shorts. I'd forgotten. I don't look at my legs all day. But yes, he is doing good. But has Dad been fun the last couple of days, or are you missing the all-day activity with Mom? You still see her because she's your source of food. But yeah. I think we're doing okay. I think that I'm holding my own, still getting some work done. We're having fun. We cry minimally. So, yeah. Well, we're going to be wrapping it up. It's 3:58, guys. It's 3:58. Brody did make it to the show. He'll probably make appearances from time to time. Again, tomorrow he'll probably make an appearance if he wakes up. Yeah, tell him how you feel. Tell him. Yeah? You want to hold the mic? Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to find a way. Maybe I'll have a competition between him and Beamer to see which one of them makes better trades. And we'll come up with a system for that. Any questions, guys? Any questions? It was a fun, not as many people came to the party today, but we still had one. And it was a lot of fun being here with you guys. Any questions you guys have before I wrap out the stream? Bedridden says, that is a good-looking man. Thank you. Brody's not too bad himself. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's a good looker. He looks a lot like us Warren babies. Like, I got to find them. I got to text my mom and get those photos. I can post in our Discord. I'll post some photos of me as a child. But he has like those little elements of Taylor in him that make him not a perfect replica. But he's got me and him got a lot of similarities. So cannot wait for the beard. The beard's coming, boys. I think Taylor and I talked about for Christmas, we're going to get him a little attachable beard. So you guys will have that to look forward to. Meek Vision says, hi, baby Tim. Yes, baby Tim. We thought about Tim Jr., and I said, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. My brother is a second, my older brother is the same name as my dad, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to give him his own name. And Brody, how do you not like a kid named Brody? That was part of the thought. Like, part of it was, hey, we'd already decided his name was going to be Brody before the Investing Bros. So some people ask, is he Brody because of the Investing Bros? The answer is no. But I did say, how cool would it be that I have a son that when I call him, I can say, hey, bro, you know? Taylor didn't love it. Taylor didn't love that thought, but she did love the name Brody. And again, who doesn't? Never met a bad. Put it in chat. Have you ever met a person named Brody you disliked? I challenge you. And if you say yes, then there's probably something wrong with you, because Brodies are one of the top humans that this world has ever seen. But, yep, guys, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Again, a one-man show. It was me, but we covered a lot of ground. Covered the TA, covered the historical analysis, the best times to be buying Bitcoin. That's not financial advice. You guys do what you want to do, but I'm telling you that's what I'm going to do. I want to be transparent with you guys. I will also remind you guys when we get closer to that. There will be other points along the line that I'm probably buying and selling and entering trades, but some big buys and big sells, historically, there's great times to do it, and Bitcoin is consistent. With that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you in today's show. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, and T-Shroom will be back. You guys have a good one.